Welcome back to the CSP Elite Baseball Development Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Cressey, and this is our 40th edition of Pinch Hit Friday. Today, I want to talk to you about sleep, and this is something that's actually near and dear to me because I got to be honest, I am not a great sleeper. I used to be a great sleeper when I was younger, and then as life stressors kind of just piled up and piled up, it got steadily worse, and we are twins in 2014. I kind of never recovered my old ability to sleep. I was kind of constantly on, so I'm a guy who's a challenging one. I can fall asleep the second my head hits the pillow, but then I wake up around 1 or 2 a.m. thinking about all the things I need to do. So needless to say, this is something that hits home for me, and I've had to really work at it with some of the strategies that I'm going to talk about today. And I think they're really important lessons for athletes to learn at a young age, just because they have a trickle-down effect to every other aspect of your development. Everybody wants to go on social media and find the latest, greatest exercise or throwing drill. They want to take really advanced solutions to their problems. And in a lot of cases, sleep is the single biggest thing that they can do to really help themselves. When we see young athletes who prioritize sleep and nutrition, it's a massive leg up on their competition, the other kids in their peer group that really aren't prioritizing these things. So the first thing I would say is the number one way to improve sleep is to talk about it and encourage athletes to sleep more. I think there is this perception that if you stay in bed, you're lazy. We've always heard the stories about the dad that yells at the kid to get out of bed and go mow the lawn at 6 a.m. or whatever it is. In reality, if you look at all the research on sleep, it actually gets better when you start talking about it with athletes, start encouraging them to appreciate the importance of it. But then on top of it, just encouraging sleep extension. So stay in bed a little bit longer. And usually when you encourage athletes to do this, there's some really good research on this. You actually get considerably more sleep just by making it okay. So that's the first thing for a podcast like this, is emphasizing that it's okay to prioritize sleep and to push it more. I think this is particularly important if you're someone who is not an efficient sleeper, right? If you wake up a lot during the night and you really struggle to find your groove in that regard, just extending the amount of time you stay in bed can be a good chance to recoup some of that lost time. It's also particularly important to encourage athletes to have naps. So as an example, in Major League Baseball, most games are played at 7 o'clock, right? So even if you're a morning person, you're going to work late in the day, and you might not leave the stadium till after 11. You might not get home till midnight, and have to slowly wind down. So if you're a morning person that goes to bed at 1:30 during the season, and you're naturally going to be up at 6:30 or 7 just because that's who you are, napping is a really, really important thing for you to consider. So that's all part of that discussion. It's okay to nap. It's okay to sleep in. Obviously, we have responsibilities and things like that. But if athletic success is a high priority for you, that's something you should really, really appreciate is okay. Okay. Number two, make the room cold. And this is an age-old debate between husbands and wives, temperatures in the room. Men generally like rooms a lot cooler than women do. But regardless, I would say it's easier to start cold and add clothing or blankets than it is to start warm and wait for something to cool off, right? It can take an hour, hour and a half for the air conditioning to kick on and really lower temperature. And anyone who's ever slept in a place with no air conditioning in a hot summer months knows that it's miserable trying to go to sleep. We know that body temperature and heart rate drop with sleep. So you can facilitate this with the ambient temperature. A lot of people actually do really well with showers before they go to sleep, or baths if that's your thing. Your body temperature naturally drops as you get to the end of the day, and a warm shower before bed can help you to lower your body temperature. Really what happens is when you step into a warm shower, your body temp rises, your blood vessels dilate, and the blood flow to the skin surface increases. This helps to dissipate the heat from your body. And what it can basically do is create a subsequent drop in core temperature to tell your brain that it's basically time to go to sleep. There's quite a bit of research to actually suggest that a bath or a shower before bed improves sleep, and especially sleep latency. It allows you to go to bed quicker or fall asleep quicker. Generally speaking, they say don't do it right before bed, but about 1 to 3 hours before bed is your best bet. It's important to know I don't love cold showers at this time of day, and the research, well, it's a little bit, up and down and, in favor of it versus against it. It doesn't really make sense to put a cold shower before bed. We use that in the morning with a lot of people to wake them up, and it does rise, the stress hormones. So it's not ideal when you're trying to wind down. So I would say cold showers in the morning, if that's your thing, warm showers late in the day. You want to facilitate that drop in body temperature. I generally tell athletes to start at about 68 degrees and then go from there. Most wind up a little bit cooler than that. I'm personally personally a 65 degree. I like getting it as cool as I can. And then, if I'm cold, I can throw something on in the middle of the night or add a sheet or something like that. Number three, make the room dark. Get rid of technology and all the blue light in the bedroom, right? Hotel rooms are the absolute worst for this. You walk in and they've got the alarm clock, they've got the smoke alarm, they've got the TV, and then you're on a hallway, so there's a lot of light coming under your door along with the noise that goes with it. So I say cover the clocks and the lights on the TVs and your phone. You can put a towel at the base of the door to block out both light and noise. And if noise isn't a thing for you, you can also add a fan, or there's some good white noise apps you can download. We actually have them on our phones, so anytime we travel with our kids, we either bring iPads to play that noise, or you can just flick it on your phone. Anytime I'm in New York and I stay in the city, the noise is always really loud, so I'm big on popping that app on, just to kind of drown everything out and keep it consistent. Number four, get outside in the morning. This is something that Dr. Andrew Huberman's talked about a lot on his podcast, so definitely check out some of his lengthier episodes for the physiology of why. But I'll tell you an interesting story. As a bad sleeper, I was dreading going to Disney and sharing a room with my wife and three kids. You can imagine 5 people in one room, even if it was 2 double beds and a pull-out couch. It's definitely not ideal. You think about it, on top of that, we had both my wife and my computer, 2 phones, and then each of the girls have kind of their iPads that they'll listen to or watch shows on the car ride to get there. So a lot of technology in a small space, crazy excitement with everything that's going on there. Fireworks going outside. There was a light show outside of our hotel in the pond right there. So it was just crazy amount of stuff going on that would theoretically disrupt sleep. And what's fascinating is I had my Oura Ring, and our 2 nights at Disney were 2 of my best nights of sleep of the entire year, over 7 hours in both cases, which is pretty darn good for me. And as I went and I looked at what actually had happened, I realized that we just had crazy amount of sun exposure. We woke up with the sun, we were outside, and we saw the sun slowly go down and transition to the evening time. So just goes to show you that if you get on, kind of a normal, rhythm that you would normally get if you're outside working in fields on a farm or something like that, it does seem to get you wired for actually going to bed. So we get to bed early on those days just because we wiped out from long days at the park. We got up early and basically rose with the sun, something that really made a big difference for me. And I think it just speaks to volumes to like trying to get sunlight early in the day. That's something I don't always do. I'll have days where I get to the facility at 8 a.m. after dropping the girls at school, and then I'll walk outside at 6 and realize I didn't see the sun all day. So make it a priority. It should, yield some really good benefits. Number 5, this is one I hammer home to athletes. Every hour of sleep before midnight is worth 2 after midnight. This is something that's really made a big difference for me. I'm a morning person, right? I'm recording this podcast at 6:30 a.m. I was already up at 5:15 today. That's kind of who I am. If I don't get to bed early, I pay for it because I'm going to be up early in the next morning regardless. So especially if you're a morning person, prioritizing getting to bed, you're going to pay for it if you go to bed at midnight when you're normally someone, that goes to bed a few hours earlier. And I also would just add that nothing productive happens after midnight. It's usually just bad TV, crappy food, and, mischief with young kids. So every hour of sleep before midnight is worth 2 after midnight. We hear a lot of talk about chronotypes, and they are absolutely a real thing, right? Some people are morning people and others are night owls. A night owl doesn't mean you should go to bed at 4 in the morning. It might mean you're in bed at midnight versus, the 9 or 10 p.m. that a morning person would have. And I think those are really important differentiations. Don't just let this talk of chronotypes, be an excuse for you to make really bad lifestyle decisions about when you should go to bed. Regardless of what your chronotype is, it doesn't mean you should be watching TV at 2 in the morning. So every hour of sleep before midnight is worth 2 after midnight. And last but not least, number 6, a consistent sleep and wake time is a difference maker for athletes. If you're a morning person living in a late night occupation, this is something that you're going to have to really work around by getting good at napping. But I always tell athletes, if you can get on a consistent sleep wake cycle, that makes a big difference. One of the things that's really nice, if you do have an Oura Ring, and I have no relationship with them and I don't get any kickbacks on this, but it's been good for me. If you wear an Oura Ring, what it will do is it'll give you a seasonal report. I believe it's every 3 or 4 months, you get kind of a note of what your average time that you went to bed, an average time that you woke up, and you can actually compare it across different seasons. Mine will fluctuate a little bit, whether it's during the Major League Baseball season or whether it's the off season. I tend to get to bed a little bit earlier during the off season, but you will find that there is a specific kind of like time of day to go to sleep and time of day you wake up that works best for you. And I always encourage people to track this over an extended period of time just to see if they feel better, with certain times they go to bed. I know for me that if I get to bed early, it pays dividends for me really, really well. When I start creeping closer to 11 p.m. for bedtime, it never works out well. I always want to be between 9:45 and 10:15, and I'm sure it'll make a big difference for you as well. So recapping, number one, it's okay to sleep. It's okay to nap. It's okay to stay in bed. Number two, make the room cold. Number three, make the room dark. If you make the room cold and dark, it's probably also going to be quiet. So make sure you're filtering out noise as well. Number four, get outside in the morning, kind of live along with the sun, see it come up, see it come down. Number five, remember that every hour of sleep before midnight is worth 2 after midnight. And number six, get on a consistent sleep and wake schedule. It's an absolute difference maker for athletes. So just some things that I wish I had known as a teenage athlete, things that I still work on as a 44-year-old dad with multiple jobs and multiple businesses that I oversee. These are really, really important concepts. So get ahead of them if you're a young athlete, and they will pay dividends for you like you wouldn't believe. This episode is brought to you by First Form, an awesome supplement company with a comprehensive product offering that I enjoy using myself and with our athletes. Beyond the broad product line they offer, I also love First Form's commitment to ensuring that their products are the highest quality. They meet NSF certified for sport standards for both consistency and purity. Their Formula One protein powder is the best tasting option I've had in over 20 years in the fitness industry, and they've got several great flavors to choose from. I also lean on their creatine monohydrate to support hard training, their collagen for joint health, their magnesium to help with sleep quality, and their fish oil for a variety of health benefits. Our daughters and I also share a love for their high-protein meat sticks, which have become a big hit in the Cressey household for school lunches and on-the-go protein options as we head to gymnastics and softball practices. Of course, First Form products also have been really popular with our athletes at Cressey Sports Performance, and they're used by some of the top-performing athletes and most recognizable sports franchises in the world. Above all, the people at First Form are top-notch, and that's a rarity in an often unethical business. First Form is dedicated to empowering people on their fitness journeys, and that dedication is matched by only their unwavering commitment to exceptional quality and unparalleled customer service. Check them out for yourself at www.firstform.com/Cressey. That's 1stphorm.com/CRESSEY and get free shipping on your order of $75 or more. Additionally, they're offering amazing 10% more than your money back guarantee if you're not fully satisfied with your purchase. Again, that's firstform.com/Cressey to get free shipping on your order of $75 or more.